Audio check 1, 2, 3. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Motive Racing YouTube channel for tonight's action here on Project Cars 2. We're at Brands Hatch for round 7 of the Touring Car Championship Season 13, and we're coming towards the business end of this season with just 6 races left in this season's championship. 3 sprint races, as always, is going to be on the agenda here tonight. The first race of the night will be a reverse grid based on the championship standings. And then the second race will be a qualifying session which will set the grid for the second race, and the third race of the night will be a reverse grid based on the results from race 2. So that's going to be the agenda for tonight. So the usual procedure here at Motive for the touring cars on Project Cars 2. The championship standings coming into this round are very, very close. There are still 6 drivers in with a realistic shot of taking this season's championship. What a season it's going to be. What a season it's going to boil down to. And it's currently John Boy leading the championship right now on 602 points. He's been, I'd say, the man with the strongest pace this season overall, in my opinion. But he's been plagued with reliability issues. His wheel's been playing up. He's also had to rush back from an engagement in Ireland as well last week, which he actually managed to make it back for the first race in time for. But there's been a few hitches along the way. He also had an engine failure at S13 when he forgot to open up his radiator. But he currently leads the way on 602 points. He is 20 points clear of Captain Harlock, who sits in second on 582. And then you've got Jay in third place in the championship standings on 553 points, 49 off of the leader John Boy. So Jay, a former champion of the touring cars, as is John Boy. So those two extra motivated here this season to try and regain their crowns. Cobb sits in 4th in the championship on 546 points. He is 58 points behind the championship leader John Boy, and he's currently flying at the moment, 28-3 and top of the board so far in this session. So that is incredible stuff there from him. The Mutsnuts sits in 5th in the championship on 520 points, followed by Nick the Villa, who sits in 6th on 512. And then you've got Craig in 7th on 441 points, followed by Aussie Albie, who sits in 8th place on 413. Then Team MW sits in 9th in the standings on 315 points, 375 points, followed by Charlie Goff, who is on 345 in 10th. Papa Rex sits in 11th on 267 points. You've got Revolt Detailer, who's on 125 points in 13th. Doris Deer sits in 12th in the standings on 182, ahead of Revolt Detailer, who's in 13th on 125. Day 666 in 14th in the standings on 70 points. And Connor has left the championship. He's in 15th in the standings on 63 points, followed by Belito, who's in 16th on 30 points. But that is that then for the practice session here tonight at Motive for the touring cars, and Cobb there taking the fastest time ahead of Nick the Villa in 2nd, with John Boy and Jay in 3rd and 4th places for the first practice session of the night. So here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to go racing for the first race of the night here at Motive for the touring car championship here at Brands Hatch.
So here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to go.
And it's going to be, I'm sure, an absolutely great race tonight. Great night of action here, Brands Hatch GP. So it's always going to be an exciting one. It's tricky circuit to get right. The back part of the circuit especially can be a real challenge, so it's going to be about who can keep themselves out of trouble, who can avoid the potential potential sort of traps that Brands Hatch always tends to conjure up. As we got currently 3 of you watching right now, guys. Please smash the like button if you are enjoying what you're watching right now, as we're moments away here. The driver's just making their final adjustments to the setups, so it's going to be a reverse grid based on the championship standings. So we'll have one formation lap to get into order based on the reverse grid of the championship, and then at the end of this formation lap we will officially get ourselves underway for another night of racing here for the touring cars. What a great season it has been, and we've still got 6 drivers in contention for the championship. Realistically, there's more than that mathematically, but realistically I'd say there's 6 drivers in with a shout. There are 6 of them separated by 90 points, and obviously 156 points available per round. That means there's 312 still on the table with 2 rounds left to go, and so 90 points when you consider there's 312 on the table. Not really much, you know. For example, Nick Lavilla currently occupying that 6th spot. If he has a good night tonight, he could be well into the picture again for the final round of the season next week, which will be at Silverstone Classic, so make sure you also tune in for that, as we'll be live at the same place, same time as always. But we're just syncing up now and getting ready to go for the first race of the night here at Brands Hatch, the penultimate round of this season. So it looks like we're now just pulling off of the grid and getting ready to go. 5 of you currently watching the stream, smash the like button, guys, if you're enjoying tonight. As we can see, let's make sure that we've got the 100 litre guys all running their 100 litres that they're supposed to be running. So it's going to be Captain Harlock, John Boy, Jay, and Cobb have got around 100 litres. So they are all running that 100 litres. That is good to see. Obviously the Mutts Nuts and Nick Lavilla not too far out of the championship picture and in a very advantageous position because they don't have to carry the 100 litres. So the Mutts Nuts is he's 82 points off of the championship lead. So he could really make some gains here tonight, not having to carry the 100 litres. I've seen his pace in the practice. He's really got some speed here tonight. And Nick Lavilla as well in a good position without that 100 litres in his car. What about the guys at the front though? What can they do? Day 666 will be leading us around. Revolt Detailer running in P2 for the start of this race. So can he maybe get on with this early and start to up the tempo? Maybe put the rest of the guys behind them under pressure. Charlie Goff is one who I'm looking at in this first race of the night as a potential race winner. He often wins in these reverse grids. Charlie Goff, an inconsistent driver, I think I'm going to say for him, just in general. But you know, tonight maybe he can prove us wrong and get a victory. And when I say inconsistent, I mean he gets a few race wins. Charlie Goff, I'd say he might even have won the most races in the championship last season because he won so many races from the reverse grid, but he just makes mistakes and often ends up in problems other than that. So he's a driver who you never know which Charlie Goff you're going to get. So I wonder what we're going to be seeing tonight. But he starts in P4 and we know he's got pace, so is he going to be able to really kick on here at the start of the race? It's going to be exciting to see how this one pans out. We're just coming through in towards the final corner now. So day 666, your race leader will get this race underway. But he's not going to go probably until we get to the final corner, I wouldn't imagine, as we're just coming through in towards the final corner now. And I think Dane might have gone here. Has he gone? I think yes he has. So we are underway. We're green as we're coming over the line, and there's a bit of a gap between some of the drivers here. Some people were sleeping off at the start. Day leads into Paddock Hill Bend as you've already got Park Hooper here looking to try and get on the outside of Roll Detail in the foreground. But you've got there's contact there of Park Hooper and Day there having a collision, and unfortunately for Charlie, he's involved in that one. Nowhere to go. Team MW, Aussie, Craig get through unscathed. Roll Detail down to P5. Nick the Villain up into 6th place. And what is happening to Park Hooper? He's down to the back of the pack. So that could not have gone much worse there for Park Hooper, involved in the collision there with Revolt Detailer. And Charlie Goff caught up in that as well. That could be probably his chances of a race win here in his first race of the night, out of the window. But Day leads ahead of Team MW. You've got Aussie ahead of Craig, followed by Revolt Detailer. There's Nick ahead of the Mutts Nuts, followed by Cobb. And then you've got Jay and Captain Harlock with John Boy, Charlie, Big Blue and Park Hooper there running well at the back and nowhere to be seen here in this first race of the night. So nightmare there for Park Hooper so far. as you've got Captain Harlock here attacking on the back of Jay towards the end of the back straight, and Charlie Goff on the back of John Boy as well. So plenty of battles here on the first lap of this race, but Team MW really trying to hunt down Day here. He's got the inside, and he's going to make the move up the inside here. This is surely going to be job done here for Team MW. He makes the move down the inside, and Day's got to watch out because Aussie Albie's now coming inside as well into the penultimate corner. So Aussie Albie there moves straight up into second place. As Day loses it there onto the gravel, and he just caught up there. He got caught up there with somebody else. Revolt Detailer there, Moose is getting past you up the inside by Nick Livilla, but in fact he actually goes really late on the brakes. They're coming to the final corner, but he goes wide, and he's going to lose out here. So Revolt Detailer loses out to the Marks Nuts and Cobb, and also Jay as well. So Revolt Detailer losing a load of places there, down to 8th place there with running wide out of the last corner. He's now behind Craig as well. So Revolt Detailer dropping down from 4th down to 10th place in basically one corner. What a shame there for him. As we can see, the Martin Starts is trying to keep Cobb behind him right now. Captain Harlock looking for a cutback here on Jay as he goes for it out of Druids. As he's there side by side, Jay's going to have the inside for turn 3. Can he keep himself there? He goes late on the brakes. Captain Harlock's going to try and go for the cutback. Can he do it? I don't think he's going to be able to get it. And Jay there keeping on to 6th place there just about, as we can see John Boy having a little feint to the inside on Craig going into turn 4, but nothing doing at the moment. And Craig here holds on for 8th place, but it's Team MW out the front ahead of Aussie Albie. Aussie Albie is hassling the back of Team MW right now as they're coming down towards the end of the back straight. They got 3 seconds back to this battle here between Nick the Marks Nuts and Cobb, and then you've got this absolute train of cars here as Jay's looking down the inside of Captain Harlock down towards the end of the back straight. Captain Harlock trying to make a move around the outside. Jay's trying to come back in, but Captain gets that one done there up into 6th place. Craig there behind these ahead of John Boy, Revolt Detailer, and Charlie Goff with Big Blue just off of the back of these right now. But a lot going on right now, a lot to keep track of here as Craig goes very wide there coming through the third to last corner, and he loses it into the barrier there. Craig bins it into the wall. Is he? Oh no! He tried to get out of the way of Big Blue, but he couldn't do it. Craig there with big damage on the car, down to 12th place in this race. Oh, what a shame there, as Captain Harlock and Jay still battling it out for 6th and 7th places. The Captain gets it really loose down the last corner. Oh my goodness me, he just holds on to it, but Jay picks up the pieces there up into P6, and now we can see Captain Harlock's going to lose out to John Boy as well, and he just stays ahead of Revolt Detail as they come into turn 1. But Captain Harlock living dangerously there, I'll tell you that. He was really close there to completely losing the back of the car. Team MW and Aussie Albie out the front. Currently 0.3 of a second separating these guys. There's the Mark Starts ahead of Cobb and Nick the Villa. And there's Jay running just ahead of John Boy and Captain Harlock right now. Revolt Detail running in 9th place ahead of Charlie Goff. There's Park Hooper X running in 11th place. You've got Craig and Big Blue both in the pits right now. So they're not going to be moving anytime soon by the looks of it. They've got big damage on their cars, which they're going to have to fix over, well, I assume however long their pit stops are. But Team MW and Aussie Albie out the front coming towards the end of the back straight. They've got 3 seconds back to the Mark Starts, who's just ahead of Cobb and Nick the Villa. You've got Jay, who's just ahead of John Boy. John Boy's looking to go for a bit of a switch back there towards the end of the back straight, but nothing doing. Can't make it happen there as he goes a little bit wide onto the grass, but holds on to it for the time being. You've got Captain Harlock there waiting in the wings at the moment, but the Mark Nuts in the meantime is holding on to the final podium place at this point. Cobb and Nick the Villa keeping the pressure on him right now as they're all just running over the grass a little bit there. Everybody's having a bit of that, to be honest with you, as Jay's keeping John Boy behind him as Captain Harlock getting it wrong again there in the background onto the grass. So he's been involved in some skirmishes tonight as he's going ever so wide out of an ultimate corner as well. Jay in the meantime is looking down the inside of John Boy. John Boy and Jay side by side here coming through the final corner. Jay's got the inside. John Boy's going to try and go all the way round him here as they're coming over the line here to start lap 5 of the race. Jay has the inside here on John Boy as they come into turn 1. There's Captain ahead of Revolt Detailer and Charlie. But what's going to happen here between Jay and John Boy is they're now coming up towards Druids. You can see Jay on the inside, John Boy trying to keep it around the outside. John Boy there is going to hang it all the way around him. Jay's surely going to run him out of road here on the exit of Druids. He does so. Jay cuts him off beautifully there. Hugs the inside line for turn 3, and Jay holding on to 6th place there just about. But Team MW is still leading ahead of Aussie Albie right now. Jay here is going to have to defend because John Boy's looking to try and throw a little feint to the inside in towards turn 4, but he can't do it at the moment. Jay has that one covered off, and Jay's a hard man to pass around this Branch Hatch GP circuit. I can tell you that from practice. I've been racing with him a little bit. I've had a few good battles with him, and I'll tell you what, he is as wide as a combine harvester around this circuit. As we can see, John Boy's now going to lose out to Captain Harlock. He's looking down the inside, and in fact down around the outside, should I say. Captain Harlock gets that one done there. Up into 7th place, Jay a bit wide in the background. Charlie Goff there ever so wide behind Revolt Detailer. Revolt Detailer not losing out massively to these guys right now. He's still on the back of them here, so he's still in contention here in this mid-pack battle right now. Team MW and Aussie are still your 2 leaders. There's 0.3 of a second currently separating the top 2 right now, as they're 2 and a bit seconds clear of the Mutts Nuts who's running ahead of Cobb and Nick de Villa at the moment. There is Jay, there's captain, John Boy just behind them as well. Revolt Detail, they're running ahead of Charlie Goff. But that's the situation right now anyway in this race. Jay just ahead of captain and John Boy right now. There's Charlie Goff ahead of Revolt Detailer. John Boy looking down the inside into Druids here. He's going to make the move here on Jay, surely. Yes, he does. John Boy moves himself up into P6. Park Hooper into the pits here at the end of lap 5. Back to the battle here for third place between the Mutsnuts, Cobb and Nick de Villa. You can see these guys, not much really between them all at the moment. So this is a great battle here for the final podium spot. You've got Team MW and Aussie Albie still going at it out the front, but Team MW has been leading the race since the early stages with the reverse grid. It's really played into his hands and he's got the pace around this Brands Hatch GP circuit. That is for sure. You've got John Boy still ahead of Jay in that battle for P6. There's Captain Harlock, Charlie Goff and Revolt Detail are still running close here. Revolt Detail are trying to get a bit of a cutback here on Charlie Goff. But Captain Harlock's not having the race so far, riding high in the championship, but his current position in this race is not where he would need it to be at all. But the championship runners is currently the Mutsnuts who's highest up in the order. John Boy, the championship leader, currently running in P6. Jay really needs to be outscoring John Boy here in this first race if he is to be continuing his push for this season's title, but he's currently behind him and trailing by a little bit. Captain Harlock there just ahead of Charlie Goff. You've got Revolt Detail there still going, but he's now dropped off at the back of this battle there. As you can see, Park Hooper coming out of the pits, so he's just lapped down there on those guys that you saw coming through your shot before him. There's the battle for the lead. You can see that the Mutsnuts, Cobb and Nick are reeling in Team MW and Aussie Albie at this point. So this pack of 3 cars battling over the podium spots could be bringing themselves into a battle for the lead very shortly. There's your top 2, and there is the Mutsnuts, Cobb and Nick de Villa. Under a second separating these 3. They're continuing to chip away at the top 2, who continue to battle it out right now in this race. John Boy's managed to gap Jay a little bit over the last couple of laps. I wonder if Jay's got damaged because he's had real good pace in the build up to this one in practice, but tonight so far in this one anyway, not having the best of races. Aussie looking down the inside of Team MW. This is for the lead here into Druids. Is it going to be job done? It is going to be job done there for Aussie Albie. So Aussie Albie moves himself up into P1. Emma, if you're watching this is the moment. This is your man. Currently leading the race. He goes a bit wide there out of turn 3, but Aussie Albie hits the front in the first race of the night here at Brands Hatch. Can he now keep his cool, keep it together, and bring it home for a race win? What a great result it would be for him. Oh, as somebody goes off there. Wow, Park Hooper there in the foreground, the lap car. Or was it Craig? Actually, I think it was Craig, in fact. It wasn't Park Hooper, Craig there, moving well aside. But the top 5 is now in a train of cars, because with Aussie and Team MW battling, Aussie making that move for the lead, it's now brought these guys ever closer. This is now a 5-car train battling over P1 here. So Aussie Albie's going to have his work cut out. He's not going to have an easy run of this, that is for sure. Emma saying, I'm watching, fingers crossed. Obviously her man Aussie Albie currently leading the race coming into Paddock Hill Bend. Team MW keeping him under pressure though. These two have been running 1 and 2 for the duration. Oh, as Team MW goes wide, it's not anymore. He's down to P5 and he needs to be careful. He's going to hit the wall there. Team MW got a little bit heavy trying to get back on the track, and in his haste to get back on ended up losing control on the gravel, and he's well off of the back leaders now. He's now 3 seconds off of the lead, but Ozzy Albi continues to lead this race here. The Mutt-Nuts, Cobb and Nick de Villa are all waiting in the wings, hoping to be able to put the pressure on if he makes a mistake. We've had a retirement from the race, so who is left? Let's just have a quick look at the at my stream and try and work out who it is. It's Craig who's retired from the race, so unfortunately we have lost Craig here on lap 9 of the race, so no more Craig here in race 1, but Ozzy Albi, the Mutt-Nuts, Cobb and Nick de Villa on the back of these guys as the Mutt-Nuts goes wide onto the grass there, just keeps it on. Cobb, the only one of these 4 drivers to be carrying 100 litres in his car, so what a job he's doing here in this first race of the night. We've seen his pace in practice. He has got some serious pace around this circuit, and he's showing it here tonight. It's Ozzy Albi continuing to lead the way as they're coming down towards the final corner here. Robert Werolonsky saying every week there's constant action in the touring cars. There really is, Robert. This is the most exciting league that we've got here, I would say. No slight on the GT3s on ACC, but this is, I mean, it's you never know what's going to happen from one moment to the next. But in the meantime, you've got John Boy who's pulling away from Jay here. So Jay's losing time to John Boy. I think Jay must have damage on the car. John Boy must as well, to be fair, because these guys are losing time to the leaders significantly at this point. Back to the battle for the lead, but let's not stray away from this 4-man fight for P1, which Ozzy Albi still continues to hold, but the Mutt-Nuts is coming under increasing pressure here from Cobb as they come through into turn 4. But they're all holding firm at the moment. Who reports John Boy's made a mistake? Oh, he's wide onto the grass. Oh no! John Boy's going to lose out to Captain Harlock, I think, as well. Captain Harlock moves through to 7th, so Jay into 6th and Captain into 7th. Jay will gain some points here on John Boy in the title race. The thing is, the irony is, Jay running in P6, having a nightmare of a first race, but the 2 guys who are ahead of him in the championship are running in 7th and 8th. So actually, Jay is going to be closing the gap to the leaders in the championship as things stand here in this race, but Cobb is gaining on all of them, and the Mutt-Nuts and Ozzy side by side, and the Mutt-Nuts here going for the lead, coming through Druids. Can he get the run here out of Druids? Ozzy's keeping it there on the inside, coming down towards turn 3. He's not going to be able to hold it there though. The Mutt-Nuts completes the move up into the lead, and he swoops around, and the Mutt-Nuts here, he sits 5th in the standings. He's 82 points behind the championship lead. He's got an outside bet in this title race, that is for sure. He's certainly not out of it, but he hits the front here tonight, so he is now leads the race by a slender margin. Ozzy, Cobb and Nick still right there. Cobb also in the championship race as well. He's 58 points off of the championship lead. I reckon as it stands, Cobb will jump Jay in the standings into 3rd place in the championship as it stands after this race. But obviously we won't know the answers until we get to the end of the race, until we get to the end of the night, because that's all that'll be when all the standings are updated. Here are the 4 leaders coming around to complete their 11th laps of the race. And it's still the Mutt-Nuts who leads after making the move on Ozzy Albi coming into turn 3 on the previous lap. He made a great move, kept it up the inside for Druids and managed to swoop around the outside of turn 3. Up towards Druids we come again, and Ozzy's now got Cobb off his inside, and Cobb pushing him a little bit wide there, goes late on the brakes. And I think he's going to complete that move as we come down towards the same part of the track where Mutt-Nuts did Ozzy. Now Ozzy this time is saying, no Cobb, you're not going to do me in the same place where Mutts did me. Back up the inside for turn 3, still side by side as we come down towards 4. As Cobb looking around the outside, Ozzy's got that one covered off and keeps on to 2nd place there. Great racing from these guys. And Ozzy there maintains 2nd place here in this race by the skin of his teeth. Nick de Villa waiting in the wings, but this is just allowing the Mutt-Nuts to extend his gap a little bit here. He's the one doing the chasing in this championship. He's 5th in the championship. He's 82 points behind the leader, John Boy, but with John Boy down in 8th place, he'll be gaining massive points here on John Boy. So this is a great first race of the night for the Mutts Nuts so far. Can he keep this up as Ozzy's got Cobb up his inside again, and surely this time it's going to be job done for Cobb, and Ozzy gets sideways there onto the gravel, and that's going to give Nick DeVille a P3 here in this first race of the night as we're about to start the final lap of the race, as Cobb goes a bit wide there coming out of the penultimate corner, but Ozzy Albie dropping time, dropping places, down to 4th place here. He was running in 2nd place. He's been the long time leader in this race, but it's not going to end up being the win. Oh, Cobb's lost it. Cobb there goes wide coming out of the final corner, so Nick DeVille now into 2nd place. So Cobb making a mistake. They're all making mistakes here in the final part of this race. Maybe the tyres starting to go off a little bit. Team MW with the damage on his car running in P5 has got Jay hunting him down, but Jay, I think P6 is going to be the best he can hope for in this first race. Captain Harlock there running in 7th ahead of John Boy, who's got huge damage on his front bumper, so where has he managed to get that? He's going to have to be careful, because Charlie Goff with a much more healthy looking car, it's going to be all over him on this final lap, and in fact Charlie looking down the inside into Druids, surely he's going to get that move done. As they're side by side coming out of Druids, John Boy has the inside, he's going to try and keep this. No, Charlie Goff with a much better car there, obviously it's still in perfect nick, that number 4 of Charlie Goff, managing to get the move done there on the stricken number 53 there of John Boy, but we've got to flick to the Mutts Nuts because he's coming through the final few corners here of this lap. He has done absolutely everything right here in this first race of the night. He was stuck in he was leading a train of cars at first, battling over 3rd place. You had Aussie Albie and Team MW leading. Those two were battling for most of the first part of the race, and then the Mutts Nuts eventually started to hunt them down. The pack of cars behind them, the Mutts Nuts, Cobb, Nick DeVille, all those guys, they were hunting Team MW and Aussie Albie down, and eventually Mutts Nuts got ahead of both of them and has controlled the race since then. He's coming out of the final corner. It's going to be race number 1, win of the night here for the Mutts Nuts, and he's going to close the gap to John Boy in the championship. Well done to the Mutts Nuts on taking the first race of the night. Nick DeVille takes 2nd ahead of Cobb in 3rd, followed by Aussie Albie, who comes over in 4th place. Team MW 5th, with Jay over in 6th place in the end. Captain Harlock is going to bring it home for 7th place in the end, ahead of Charlie Goff, who finishes this one in 8th place. John Boy over in 9th in the end, with a Revolt Detailer who's coming out of the final corner, and he will take a P10 here in this one. And Big Blue, Day and Part Booper, I think that Big Blue's just on the final lap, so we are going to actually have to wait for Big Blue to finish the race here. Day's finished in 12th, he's a lap down. Part Booper in 13th place, but we are actually, I think, going to have to wait for Big Blue to finish this race, because he did actually start the final lap, so we're going to just tuck ourselves in and get comfortable here, because he's just coming into the final sector. But the Mutts Nuts nonetheless taking a very impressive win here in this first race of the night, and obviously a very, very good comeback drive there from him. Nick DeVille taking 2nd, managing to get Cobb when Cobb made that mistake as they were coming around to start the final lap, but Cobb there completing the podium and gaining big points there on his championship rivals, John Boy, Harlock and Jay, down the order, 6th, 7th and 8th, those guys, or 6th, 7th and 9th, because John Boy lost out to Charlie on the final lap. But Jay gaining points on John Boy and Harlock, Cobb gaining points on all of them, and the Mutts Nuts gaining points on all of them. So if you take the top 5, it's kind of like a reverse order in this first race. This championship is getting closer and closer, guys, so tune in for the second race in a few moments time. We won't be a moment. shit. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the second race of the night here at Motor for the Touring Car Championship. We are obviously in the only qualifying session of the night, that being the for the second race, because the middle race is always the one which is a qualifying session, so it sets the grid for the actual race itself. The first and the third races are always the reverse grids. First one on the championship standings, third one on the results from this race, which is race 2. So this is the only session where we really see outright pace being rewarded over one lap. Currently we've got Cobb on provisional pole on a 28.5. He's 4/10 clear of John Boy, who sits on a 28.9 in second, but we're going to be seeing lap times coming in thick and fast here because it's only a 5-minute session, so everybody has to sort of get their tyres up to temperature, get themselves in a decent working window, and then obviously once they've done that, they'll be good to really ping in a fast lap here. But yeah, Cobb currently setting the pace there by almost half a second over John Boy right now. We've got plenty of drivers in the pits at this point. And yeah, plenty out on track right now, putting lap times in. Nick Lewis is coming to the final corner. He's currently 6/10 off of the provisional pole time, being set by Cobb. Let's see if Nick Lewis can find a bit of time here, as he will get one more lap after the one that he's currently on as well. Nick Lewis stays in 4th place for the time being. Nuts has gone into 6th place on a 29.8. What about Charlie Goff? He comes over and stays in 7th at the moment, can't improve. So Cobb, John Boy and Team MW all in the pits, the top 3. Don't think that they can improve any more in this session. I'm looking at the Nuts as a potential source of pole lap here, because he's been extremely quick in the practice and obviously took the first win of the night here as well. So can he make it a double? He'll be looking to start that off, or start his quest off for a second win with pole for this second race. Nuts did have a very strong round at Donington on the national circuit about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I can't remember, it might have been 2 weeks ago. He took 2 wins and a 2nd place, so almost took the full house, the treble. We've got Dean Fox in the comments there, getting his support in for Park Hooper X, his good mate there, who's once again doing what he usually does in the qualifying. He doesn't qualify. He likes to start from the back, stay out of trouble and do it the hard way. But we've got the Nuts nonetheless coming into the final corner. Jay's done a time good enough for P5, but can't get himself onto the front 2 rows. What about the Nuts? Is he on a good lap here? We're going to find out any second now as he comes over the line. And the Nuts doesn't actually get a time on the board that's any improvement. So the surprise there, the Nuts down in P6 with the pace that he's had over the course of tonight. That's a real surprise. But in fact, P7, he gets pushed down by Nick Lavilla went into 3rd place at the end there. So it's Cobb ahead of John Boy with Nick Lavilla in 3rd. Team MW in 4th ahead of Jace 5th, followed by Captain Harleck in 6th. The Nuts and Charlie Goff on row 4 in 7th and 8th. Craig and Aussie Albie completing the top 10. And then we're going to have Revolt Detail, a Big Blue, Day and Park Hooper rounding out the grid. So this is the only race of the night where we don't have a reverse grid. This is just literally straight into the race, no messing around. None of you currently watching, guys, smash the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching right now. If you want to get involved, if you're watching for the first time, be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. And if you are already in our Discord server, then let us know who you are in the comments. Let us know who you're supporting. And also, if you've got Project Cars too, if you fancy jumping back on the game, I'd definitely recommend doing so, because there's still plenty of life left in this old game. I mean, it's obviously 6 years old now. It's been around for a long time, but ultimately we love it. We enjoy it. We cherish this incredible sim racing game. Such an authentic and diverse and a versatile sim racing game. I mean, there's so much to it. It's like a never-ending kind of universe of different tracks and cars and categories. So, what a game Project Cars 2 is. I'm paying tribute to this wonderful game, which I've played since, well, about 5 years, so since just after it came out. So yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. Project Cars 2 contributed to yeah, doing a lot of good things for me. But nonetheless, we're moments away from the start of the second race of the night, as we're just syncing up here and getting ready to go. The lights are coming on now at the head of the grid, and we are about to go racing here at Brands Hatch. And it's lights out and away we go. And it looks like Cobb got a very good start there off of the lines. We're coming down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. You can see there Nick Lavilla's attacking on John Boy as he comes through the corner, but can't get it done as Jay gets sideways and pushes the Nuts wide there. Nuts down the back. He's down in 12th place. He pushed away wide there by Jay. Did Jay get a tap there from the inside from whoever was on his inside? You can see Cobb there ahead of John Boy, followed by Nick Lavilla. You've got Captain Harleck, who's just ahead of Team MW. Craig has got Charlie Goff into his inside. Revolt Detailer trying to go around the outside of Charlie here. Livery change there for Revolt Detailer for this second race. As you've got Jay and Aussie side by side here, coming down towards turn 3. Jay's surely going to try and cover that one off there. Should have the inside covered off there from Aussie Albie. It keeps on to 9th place. Park Hooper there in 11th ahead of the Nuts. followed by Day and Big Blue, but the Mutt-Snuts there dropping a few places with that being pushed wide there by Jay. As we can see Big Blue and Day running at the back of the pack right now, but Cobb leading the race. John Boy trying to hassle the back of him here as they come into the middle part of the lap. You can see that Nick Liverner's closing up onto the back of John Boy here. You've got Captain Harlock there running in 4th place. There's Team MW ahead of Craig, followed by Charlie Goff, Revolt Detail ahead of Jay, followed by Aussie having Park Hooper there ahead of Mutt-Snuts, followed by Big Blue. Day there in 14th place at the moment in this race. But dramatic start to that race with the Mutt-Snuts being pushed wide onto the gravel. Jay here is trying to attack on the back of Charlie as the Mutt-Snuts wide there, very wide, coming out of the third to last corner. Keeps it on the track and keeps it pinned. Doesn't look like he lost any time as a result. He's still on the back of Park Hooper, trying to pressure him here for 11th place in this race. Looking to the outside, coming into the final corner. Can the Mutt-Snuts go for the cutback? He's onto the grass and Park Hooper there trying to restrict his space. Mutt-Snuts nowhere to go. Park Hooper holding on to that one for the time being. But an electric start to this second race of the night here for the touring cars at Motive here at Brands Hatch on the GP circuit tonight. Cobb leading into Druids there. You can see them all filing through your shot right now. And you can see there Jay having to defend ahead of Revolt Detailer as they came into Druids just there. Aussie Albie trying to put the pressure here on Revolt Detailer as they're coming into turn 3 here on this second racing lap. We've actually lost the driver from this race already here, so somebody's retired very early on indeed. Because I'm just going to try and work out who that is. It's Day. So Day's retired from the race. Did he pick up big damage potentially, which has cost him in this race? We've got Dean in the comments saying, Paul, he's our man. If he can't win it, no one can. I can relate to that, mate. I can relate to that philosophy very, very much. But yeah, apart from currently running 11th place, nonetheless, he's not having the best at races so far, but still plenty of laps left in this race for him to get himself into this one. But Cobb and John Boy currently dueling it out for the lead at the top of the timing board. You can see there Craig's got Jay really hassling him right now. For 6th and 7th is Charlie wide and onto the grass, but he manages to get it back on the track before anybody else comes up on the scene. You've got the Mutt-Snuts just ahead of Aussie and Big Blue. Revolt Detailer there just on the back of these guys right now, but Park Hooper's up into 9th place, so he's got ahead of the Mutt-Snuts and Aussie. And Big Blue and Revolt Detailer running at the back. Revolt Detailer must have made a mistake there because he's running now in 13th place and last, so it's not been the first couple of laps that he wanted at all. We see the top 6 there filing through your screen. There's Jay on the just ahead of Charlie Goff. You've got Park Hooper there ahead of the Mutt-Snuts, followed by Aussie, Big Blue and Revolt Detailer, who's dropped a load of time here on this latest lap, and is now 12.5 seconds off from the lead, and we're only on lap 3 of the race. So Revolt Detailer having an absolute nightmare in this second race of the night. As you've got the Mutt-Snuts here trying to defend ahead of Aussie Albie, followed by Big Blue. Revolt Detailer dropping off the back of these guys right now. But currently 0.3 of a second separating the top 2 as they're coming down to the end of the back straight. You can see these two really nothing at all separating them at the moment. Craig is still got Jay Hass in the back of him for 6th place. You can see there Charlie, Park Hooper, the Mutt-Snuts, Aussie and Big Blue all in a train of cars here. So you've got 5 cars here separated by just over a second. As the Mutt-Snuts looking down the inside of Park Hooper, surely that's going to be job done. He pushes him a little bit wide, and Park Hooper onto the cross. Oh, and Aussie Albie nowhere to go. Aussie Albie and Park Hooper coming together, both of them in the wall. Oh no! And Revolt Detailer is going to come off on the scene, and it's going to relieve Aussie Albie of that 12th place. And what a shame there, as Park Hooper and Aussie Albie both with damage. Aussie with huge damage on the front of the car. And is he going to come into the pits and get that fixed? It's early in the race, so he might be well advised to do so. Nick Livilla just ahead of Captain Harley, you can see holding on there for the final podium place. There's Nick and Craig battling over 6th and 7th right now. You can hear Revolt Detailer in the game chat there getting very angry about the drivability of his car right now. Aussie Albie into the pits here at the end of lap 3, so he's boxing, but we can see here that the top 2, Cobb and John Boy, 0.2 of a second separating them. What a duel this is out the front, and they're going to be fighting it out to the flag, I reckon, in this second race. Nick and Captain battling over the podium places, but they're dropping time to the 2 leaders, who seem to be in a bit of a league of their own right now. These 2 running in the same livery, essentially teammates in a way, and you can see that they are going to be giving no quarter to each other here in this one. You've got Team MW running all by himself there in 5th place. There's a couple of seconds pure this battle here between Jay and Craig. As you can see them coming down to the back straight. Currently Jay holding on there ahead of Craig. There's Charlie ahead of the Mutt-Snuts. Big Blue there running in 10th ahead of Park Hooper. And there's Revolt Detailer running just a couple of seconds behind Park Hooper in 12th place. Aussie Albie there in 13th. Clegg there, sweeps around the outside of Jay up into 6th place, so he gets that one done nicely. Charlie there's running in 8th place right now ahead of the Mutts Nuts. You can see these guys coming down towards the final corner. They're 3 seconds clear of Big Blue running in 10th place. John Boyle coming inside of Cobb towards the end of the back straight, but tucking in for the time being. Nick and Captain still going at it for 3rd place. You can see there Team MW running about 3 seconds clear of Craig and Jay at the moment. There's Charlie ahead of the Mutts Nuts as these guys still battle it out over 8th place. Big gap back to Big Blue, who seems to have made a mistake. He's dropped well off of the back of these guys there. Park Poop is on the back of him. You can see as that battle's now materialising there for 10th place. But back to the 2 leaders, Cobb and John Boy, 2 tenths apart as they come down towards the final corner. You can see that John Boy once again just looking, just trying to pressure Cobb into a mistake, but Cobb's not giving him anything to go on right now as they're coming around the final corner here. But as I said before, John Boy came into this one with the championship lead. Cobb has taken points off him in the first race and is doing so again here in this second race. Come up through Paddock Hill Bend. John Boy looking to the inside, nothing doing. Cobb has that one held on to. Looks like Craig is looking on the back of Jay, but Jay's actually headed Craig up into P6. The Mutts Nuts still on the back of Charlie Goff, still trying to pressure him into a mistake there for 8th place. But Charlie's holding his ground at the moment. Oh, it's Charlie a bit wide coming through turn 4, just gets it turned in. And keeps ahead of the Mutts Nuts at the moment. Oh, it's Captain Harlock, massive the slide. Oh, and he goes straight into the wall. Huge damage on the front of that car, and that's going to cost him massive points here in this race. Is that his championship going to be hanging by a thread here? He's going to be dropping down the pack here. He's down in 9th place. Is that going to be a pit stop here for Captain Harlock? Is he going to try and grind it out here? Looks like the bumper's holding firm, so it could be worse. But that's going to really cost him a lot of drivability here in this race. There's Craig there behind Jay. You can see now, obviously, Jay and Craig up in position each, and so is Charlie, the Mutts Nuts as well. It's about up the front, still nothing between Cobb and John Boys. They're going through Paddock Hill Bend. There's Nick ahead of Team MW. Jay there running in P5 has got Craig on the back of him here as they come down towards Paddock Hill Bend again. You've got Charlie and the Mutts Nuts still battling over 7th place. Captain into the pits here at the end of lap 6. Captain getting that damage fixed that we said before he had for going into the wall coming into the middle sector, so he's clearly that damage a bit too much for him to be able to drive with. As Dean Fox there, absolutely gutted to see what's happening with Park Hoover there, down in 9th place, not having the race at all. He's got Big Blue and Revolt detail on the back of him here, so can he try and pull away, or is he going to have to really get his elbows out to defend this position? But nonetheless, Park Hoover here not having the best of second races, it must be said. Always Revolt detail, gets onto the curb there in the background, but keeps onto it at the moment. Cobb and John Boy still battling over the lead here. 0.2 of a second separating them. John Boy getting closer at points, but Cobb just holding him at arm's reach at the moment, just keeping him behind that jab. John Boy just can't work inside at the moment. Nick DeVilla still going in the final podium spot as gap Team MW by quite a bit over the last few laps. You can see Captain Harlock coming out of the pits there on the left of your shot. There is Craig and Jay still going at it, so Craig's got back ahead of Jay up into 5th place. Charlie with these guys there. You can see them coming through Paddock Hill Bend. There's the Mutt Nuts running in 8th place as Jay's making the move up the inside of Charlie into Druids. So Jay back into 5th place here. He's 5 seconds behind Team MW. Can he hunt him down and get a few more points here in this second race of the night? Always captain there, trying to get well out of the way of the leaders. You can see that's Jay, Charlie, the Mutt Nuts, and Craig all coming through. Captain Harlock a lap down on the top 8 drivers in this race. As Cobb and John Boy side by side. And has John Boy made the move? No, Cobb tucks it back into the lead there. You can see that John Boy had a bit of a run, but Cobb managing to hold on by the skin of his teeth there. John Boy's really pushing him at every single step of the way here. But Cobb has got every answer to him at this stage in the race. John Boy trying everything he has, but Cobb is currently still just about holding firm here in this battle for the lead. As they come down towards the final corner once again. John Boy's going to try and go for a cut back here out of the last corner. I don't think he's going to be able to get it though. Cobb once again just putting out every single just doing every single thing correctly here, not putting a foot wrong. As John Boy looking to the inside into Paddock Hill Bend, but can't make the move there. Nick DeVilla running in 3rd place at the moment, still ahead of Team MW. Jay's still holding on for that P5, but he's got Charlie, the Mutt Nuts, and Craig in hot pursuit as Craig's lost out to Charlie and the Mutt Nuts, so I'm not sure what happened to Craig there, but he's lost a couple of positions. Well, he'd already lost out to Jay, but he's now lost out to these two as well, so didn't see what happened there to Craig. He's got Captain Harlock trying to unlap himself here as well. But this is the battle for the lead here between Cobb and John Boy. You can see 0.4 of a second currently separating these two. Oh, that's John Boy there, wide onto the grass a little bit, but John Boy obviously the 2-time champion of the touring cars here at Motive. Took both of his championships in the Renault Megane a couple of years ago it was actually, during the height of COVID, when we had 2 tiers. That was when John Boy won his 2 championships in the touring cars. Hasn't won a championship in the touring cars since we brought back the Project Cars 2 leagues here at Motive, which was back in July last year. But nonetheless, can he make it a 3rd title this season? He's the championship leader coming into tonight, but didn't have the greatest of first races. He really needs to this result here in this second race to get some momentum back going again. A bit wide out of turn 1, and Cobb there just putting out a bit of a gap here to John Boy. Not massive gap, it's well within a second, but he's just got a bit more breathing room, a bit more of a cushion. Team MW matching Nick DeVilla at the moment. Those two running in 3rd and 4th places, 2 seconds apart. Jay there has managed to gap Craig. Craig's got back ahead of the Mutt Nuts and Charlie, so he's got himself up a couple of positions. Didn't see where he did that. Don't know if these chipped over each other or whether he made the move there just on pure racing manoeuvre. That's Big Blue down the inside of Park Hoover into Druids. Is that job done? I think it is. Yep, Big Blue's got himself into 9th place there. Good move there from Big Blue. As he comes through turn 3, he's up into 9th place there. They're a couple of seconds clear of Volt Detailer. Aussie Alvey there running in 12th place here in this race. It's not been the second race of the night at all for Aussie Alvey. Led the first few laps in the first race of the night, but this race could not have been further from that. And Captain Harlock, I can tell you what, it's been a bad race here for the Mild 7 liveries. That's for sure. Big Blue there running in 9th, Aussie in 12th, Captain in 13th. Yeah, it's not been the night at all. But Cobb here still just ahead of John Boy as they're coming over the line here to start lap 11. We've got 4 laps left in this race. Team MW gained about 0.7 of a second on Nick DeVilla on that previous lap, so he's now starting to bring that gap down ever so slightly. Is that going to be enough to get himself onto the back of him by the time we get to the end of the race? that could be a battle that we see looming on the horizon very shortly. As there's Big Blue and Park Hooper still going at it for 9th and 10th places. And they're a few seconds clear of Revolt Detailer, who's running in 11th place. But this is the battle currently for the lead here between Cobb and John Boy as we're coming around. We're about to start lap 12 of the race. We've lost the driver from this second race. Who have we lost? Somebody's retired. That is Revolt Detailer. So Revolt Detailer out of the race here, has retired the car. Quite unexpectedly really. He wasn't a million miles off the lead, was he? I mean, he wasn't a million miles off the Park Hooper, I don't think. Nonetheless, he has retired the car here, but he will be able to start from the front because obviously he's retiring late on in this second race, so he will be able to start at the front in the final race of the night. But currently watching the battle for the lead here between Cobb and John Boy. They're still running really close here. Back to the 2 leaders, all Cobb wide onto the grass there, really living dangerously. John Boy having a look to the inside, he's going to have to go for the cutback here, he's going to have to look all the way around him because Cobb there covering every eventuality off. John Boy riding over the curve a little bit, coming to the final corner. Cobb gets a decent enough run and survives once again. But I tell you what, he had a bit of a sketchy moment there coming through the penultimate corner. John Boy couldn't capitalise, and it's still Cobb leading as we start the penultimate lap. Goes a bit wide coming through Paddock Hill Bend. John Boy's got a bit of a run, looking to the inside. Cobb there covers it off once again. John Boy trying to go all the way around the outside of Druids. Can he get the inside for turn 3? No, Cobb there managing to position his car in exactly the right place there as they come through turn 3. It's still Cobb ahead of John Boy, but these two are going to give it absolutely everything they've got here in the final 2 laps of the race. Cobb obviously needs to outscore John Boy to continue to close the gap in the championship. John Boy, your championship leader coming into tonight, but lost huge points on Cobb in the first race. But I think he still will have the championship lead after this race, but it's going to be quite close actually now between John Boy and Cobb in this championship battle. Is it going to be between these two for the title, with Captain Harlock down in 12th place here in this race? Jay down in 5th, was already a long way behind anyway. Mutt's Nuts here down in 6th place. Is it going to be between these two for the title here at Motive for season 13? John Boy, a 2-time champion of the touring car division. Cobb's never won the touring cars, but he has won the Clio Cup and the GT3 Tier 2. He's never won a top level championship at Motive though. He's won the Tier 2s back when Motive was huge during COVID, during the main part of COVID, when we had 2 tiers for the GT3s and the Clios. Cobb actually won both of those Tier 2s for both of those respective championships, but has never won a top tier championship here at Motive. Could this be the season where he changes that? We're on the final lap here coming through Druids. These guys now nearly 10 seconds clear of Nick Lavilla, who's running in the final podium place. There is Team MW, who's just dropping off of Nick Lavilla a little bit on that previous lap. Nick extended his gap by 0.7 of a second. Jay still running in 5th place. He's got the Mutts Nuts and Craig on the back of him here. You can see Charlie Goff is a little way behind them. They've got the lap car of Captain Harlock on the back of them right now, of Jay, the Mutts Nuts and Craig. But here come the 2 leaders into the final half a lap. Can John Boy force Cobb into a mistake, or is Cobb just going to do this exactly what he needs to do here? Just bring it home, keep cool under pressure. Cobb's soaked up all this pressure and has weathered the storm really nicely. What's John Boy got left in the tank here? Through into the final few corners here at Brands Hatch for the second race of the night here for round 7 of 8 for season 13. Got one more race after this, which will be the reverse grid based on the results from this one. But here we come. Cobb through the final corner. He's going to take the win here in the second race. And he's going to continue to cut points in this championship gap here to John Boy. A flash to light from Cobb. A flash to light from John Boy. The mutual respect between those two, absolutely evident. Cobb taking the win ahead of John Boy. Great race from those two. Nick De Villa's going to come over to take third place here at the end of this second race. Team MW takes fourth place in the end. A long way clear of the Mutsnuts, who will bring it home in fifth place. Jay will come over in sixth ahead of Craig, who'll finish in seventh. Bit of a gap back to Charlie. Captain Harlock's finished the race a lap down. Charlie comes over to take eighth place. As Big Blue's managed to get ahead of Parpoo. And Parpoo was wide onto the gravel. Oh no, you couldn't write it. Dean, if you're still watching, you just couldn't make it up, could you? Big Blue comes over in ninth. Parpooper there in P10 in the end. Making a mistake through the final corner on a final lap. Big Blue there nabbing him to ninth place. Aussie Albie's going to bring it home for 11th as he's coming through the final couple of corners here. Solid result here for Big Blue in the end, getting up into ninth place, but not the best of races here for Aussie Albie. Down in 11th place, a long way off of the lead. And Captain Harlock obviously already finished the race, so we did lose a couple of drivers along the way there. So Cobb, John Boy and Nick De Villa taking the podium places there. Obviously it'll be Day who will be starting this one on pole for the final race of the night ahead of Revolt Detailer. But yeah, we're going to read out the grid order in just a moment, guys. Stay with us, stay tuned, we'll be back on for the final race of the night in a few moments time. Don't go anywhere. Right then, guys. Turn one, lap one. I saw there was, I think Jay was boxed in the middle and went into the side of Mutts. Yeah, pushed him wide onto the gravel. Yeah, but I think you had somebody on your inside. I think you were boxed. There was just a load of people in one place. Yeah, I couldn't see. I didn't notice who was on your inside. I just noticed that you went into Mutts. But I said at the time that I don't think it was your fault because you had someone on your inside. Someone's got to back out, otherwise it's going to go wrong. Yeah. Right then. Alright guys, I'm going to read out the grid order anyway. I'm going to read out the grid. So it's going to be Day P1, Revolt P2, Captain P3, Aussie P4, Parpil P5, Big Blue P6, Charlie P7, Craig P8, JP9, Mutz P10, Team P11, Nick P12, John Boy P13, Cobb P14. Also, guess who? Oh, sorry, Ozzy, you are in fourth. Right, guess who it was? Not me. Right, let's go.
The fear of losing is far greater than the fear of being hurt, and that means.
Oh shit! Thank you, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Your opponent.
Oh fucking hell, that was close.
Where they are.
that almost went really wrong.
If they're in a strong situation, their car is running well, and you're both in a good position. At that point, it's like playing high-speed poker. All you can do is try and gauge the profile of your opponent right, and hope that you've hope you come out in front of him.
Ollie, you'll go green this time. Lights are out on the safety car. Guy in front of us there helping cause the caution. Big area to go with that guy.
Talkie boy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
5:15 tomorrow. Now, you've got the keys and me and Simon gets me at about 5:05.
Oh my god.
And I'm waiting outside with me fucking fuming. What let's do tomorrow,
Alright.
alright? We've got Sarah and Aidan at 9, so there's a few of us.
Oh, Sarah's back.
Yeah, Sarah's back, baby. So, right, what time are we going to be here?
At 5:15.
Right, every minute you're late. What can we do? Oh, we did that today, that time on 2 o'clock.
I think you should call the police.
No, I don't want to start saying that again. You didn't say anything today, so...
Sorry, I'm joking. I'll be there at 5:15. Don't worry. Yeah, I'll just have to remember. Simple as that.
Just check your little note for fucking 4 times. So you want me to call you when I get up, when we get up at 5?
Yeah, just call me when you. Yeah, call me when you're. Are you getting up at 5?
Yeah, well, it takes like 4 minutes to get downstairs where you get changed, brush your teeth, that's all.
I'm the same. Whenever Mark rings me up, I'm literally like just throw everything together last minute. Yeah, ring me up. Ring me when you wake up, and I'll be up. Yeah, we'll do. Right. See you in a bit. What's up, man? What are you doing?
Are you at work tomorrow?
Yes.
What time?
Till 2 o'clock.
From what time?
Early. First thing. Crack of dawn.
Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to?
I'm about to start commentating.
Will you take that down when you go?
Yeah.
Tell me who you're talking to.
I'm not talking to anyone.
You are.
Right, we're going to come in. Alright? We're going to come in now. Okay? Welcome back, everybody. We're here for the final race of the night here at Motive for the Touring Car Championship for Season 13 here, Round 7, Race 3 of the night, obviously Race 21 of a 24-round season, or 24-race season, should I say, an 8-round season, 3 races per round. Tonight we are here for the final practice session, which is a 5-minute practice. We're coming towards the end of it right now. It's currently Nick De Villa with the fastest lap time in this session. He's got 1:29.2. The track temperature is starting to get a little bit lower now because obviously it's getting later in the evening. It's now sunset here at Brands Hatch, so the grip of the on the circuit is not going to be as prevalent as it was before. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get the tyres up to temperature, so it's not going to be as plain sailing as it has been over the course of tonight. So we've got John Boy there moving himself into second place here in this session. So that's that. The practice session is done now, and the drivers can finish the lap that they're currently on. As we've got a few comments coming in here on the stream, which I'm going to get to in just a few moments' time. We had Dean in the comments during the second race. He was very unhappy to see his good friend Park Hoover really struggling during the course of that race. Can Park Hoover X come good here in the final race of the night and get a good result here? Obviously with the reverse grid, there's a good chance that he'll be able to. Sorry guys, I just had a momentary blackout there on the stream, and the reason why was because I realised that I'd accidentally edited the Clio Cup stream and put the title for the touring car stream on the Clio Cup stream, and I'd left the touring car stream completely unattended. I don't know how I managed to do that, but yeah, basically completely like must have been sleeping or something, I don't know. Really, really bizarre, but apologies for that anyway. So now the correct title is on this touring car stream, so I'm going to share it for the final race here tonight. But yeah, that's a bit embarrassing. We've got some comments coming in here on the stream right now. I want to thank. Oh, hold on one sec. Let me get it out, and then I can say who I'm thanking. Yeah, so I want to thank Jazzman for tuning in. Jazzman there giving us a wave there in the comments. Good to see you, Jazzman, as always. Our PS5 GT3 champion for our ACC GT3 League on a Sunday, and he's obviously always a big fan here at Motive, always chiming in and saying hello during our streams. Welcome along, teammate. Always good to see you. We've got GGJ in the comments saying, oh my god, it's Jazzman, congratulations on your championship. By the way, Jazzman says, nice to hear from you, GGJ. Dean Fox there saying, Paul's got this race. I'll believe it when I see it, Dean. I'll believe it when I see it. But he's got a P5 start in this final race, to be fair, as Part Pooper. So can he get a good result here? He's a quick driver as Part Pooper, but little mistakes here have really plagued him in quite a few of the races. He's a man who's got plenty of potential, and he can fight it out at the front on his day. So let's see what he can do here in this final race of the night. We're just coming into the final few corners here of this lap. He's got Day, Revolt Detailer, Captain Harlock and Aussie to negotiate, and Captain Harlock, I think he's going to be my pick for this race win in the final race of the night. I think he's going to be making the most of his lofty grid position here. He's obviously in a bit of a pickle over the course of tonight, and he's lost a load of points to his championship rivals, but can he try and recover some of it here in this final race? Looks like we're underway as we're coming over the line here to start the first racing lap of the final race of the night. And Day 666 leads coming into turn one. You've got side by side here between Revolt Detailer and Captain Harlock. Captain Harlock to the outside through Paddock Hill Bend, but can't make anything happen just there. As we watch the rest of the pack coming through, a bit of a slide there from Jay as he came into Paddock Hill. You can see also Team MW doing the same thing. But we're all cleanly through the first few corners right now. And always in the background there, Day very wide onto the grass. Loses out there, so he's lost out to Revolt Detailer, Captain Aussie and Part Pooper. He's now got Big Blue on the back of him here. So Revolt Detailer now leads the race as he's losing out there to Big Blue his Day as well. But Revolt Detailer, Captain Harlock here, now trying to attack for the lead of the race here on Revolt Detailer already. So he's not hanging about at all here in this final race of the night. GGJ here saying, I've been busy with getting into somewhat professional F1 leagues, so I haven't done much so much ACC. He's saying there in the comments. As we've got side by side here between Craig and Day, and Craig's gone around the outside there at the end of the back straight up into 6th place as Charlie is now attacking on the back of Day, as we can see there as Jay's moved through ahead of Charlie. Charlie loses out there, so Charlie there down to a 9th place. Jay managing to seize on that without any dramas. But Jay 5 places ahead of John Boy at the moment, and Cobb at the back still. So the top two in the second race have not moved off of their bottom 2 positions so far in this final race of the night. So it's been slow progress for those two in this one. But Revolt Detailer is now taking the lead off of Aussie, or rather he's trying to hold on to the lead ahead of Aussie Albie. Captain Harlock has lost out to Aussie Albie. Aussie Albie attacking in this final race of the night. He's got a bit of a run here on Revolt Detailer as they're coming over the line here to start the second racing lap here. But Captain Harlock's trying to come back at Aussie Albie coming down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Aussie Albie goes for the switch back here on Revolt Detailer as we're coming through the corner. A bit of a slide there from Aussie Albie, really out of shape there as they come up towards Druids, as Captain Harlock looks to the outside as Big Blue's down the inside here of Captain. But Captain making a move up the inside of Aussie and makes the move brilliantly there up into 2nd place. So Captain Harlock there moving through, but Aussie there getting a bit of a run coming through into turn 3, keeping onto that one. Aussie Albie did really well there to hold onto that position. Big Blue's got Part Pooper trying to attack on the back of him here as they're coming through turn 3, but it's still Revolt Detailer leading this race as we're on lap 3 here for this final race of the night. Revolt Detailer here is driving an absolute cracker at Brands Hatch, a track that I know he goes well around, as he's trying to squeeze Aussie Albie there to the edge of the track. Almost contact between them. Aussie Albie had to get out of it there. Now Captain Harlock will look down the inside and will be able to make the move up into 2nd place. And Aussie might not be too happy with Revolt Detailer's defence there, because that was a late move there which forced Aussie onto the grass. It's as you were between those guys right now. But But Charlie's lost out to John Boy. John Boy there gets himself up into 10th place. No dramas there from him. Still a Revolt Detail ahead of Captain Harlock. Aussie there in 3rd place, ahead of Big Blue. 0.4 of a second separating the top 4 right now as we come down towards the final corner once again. And Captain Harlock going to go for the cut back here down the start-finish straight. You can see there Big Blue's managed to get ahead of Aussie Albie here, up into 3rd place as they're coming over the line here to start lap 4. Captain Harlock's got the inside covered off there from Revolt Detail. Oh, it's Revolt as Aussie, sorry, pushes Revolt wide onto the grass there. So Aussie will be very aggressive. Revolt Detail's not going to be too happy with that one. He loses out to this pack of cars behind him. You can see there, they're all coming through. He loses out to Big Blue, Craig, Park Pooper, and possibly Jay now as well. As Jay's looking around the outside, contact between Revolt Detailer and Jay. And Jay gets pushed wide onto the grass. He's not going to be too happy with that one. He'll be saying, Leo, what was all that about in the game chat? I'm pretty sure about that. But Revolt Detailer keeping ahead of Jay there in 6th place right now. Jay's going to get a run here down the back straight and it's going to get in here. I think Jay's going to move through up into P6 finally there. Gets the move done on Revolt Detailer, who's trying to keep the Mutts Nuts behind him as they're coming down to the end of the back straight. Manages to keep ahead of the Mutts Nuts there in 7th place as Revolt Detailer. But Captain Harlock trying to gap Aussie a little bit here. You can see there's 0.7 of a second between these two right now. As Big Blue trying to look underneath, Craig trying to look underneath Big Blue here. As they're battling over the 3rd spot here, but Park Hooper are with these guys right now as well. Oh, it's Team MW's got it wrong. He's dropped down to the back, so Team MW they're losing a load of places here. He's down to 14th place here in this race. This final race of the night could not have gone much worse for him. Captain and Aussie there, 0.7 of a second between them as Craig's got Big Blue down his inside here. And can Big Blue get this done? He's over the curve a little bit on the grass. Up the inside for Druids we go, side by side between Craig and Big Blue. And Big Blue there gets that done up into 3rd place. Pushed him a little bit wide, but that's job done there as now Jay's looking to try and get a run here on Park Hooper, looking to the outside in towards turn 3. Park Hooper back down the inside, trying to throw one up the inside of Craig there. Keeps ahead of Jay, as Park Hooper there. Good clean racing from these guys. As in the background there, you've got the Mutts Nuts trying to bring himself into that fight. John Boy's now on the back of this train as well. Charlie currently running in between John Boy and Cobb. Cobb running in 11th place, so it's not been a bad first few laps for him. He's made 3 places up in the first few laps. Oh, as you see Revolt Detailer getting a little bit wide there. Where's he ended up? Oh, he's on the gravel. No, Revolt Detailer losing out to the Mutts Nuts and John Boy. Is he going to come out ahead of Charlie? Charlie gets ahead of him as well. So does Cobb. So Revolt Detailer dropping down to... Oh, he's dropped down to 12th place because Dave moves through as well. So Revolt Detailer losing a load of places with that mistake out of the last corner. He's now way down the back here. As it's still Captain ahead of Aussie. You've got Big Blue here trying to defend from Craig coming into turn 3. There's Park Hooper and Jay still battling as Jay's looking to try and go for a cutback here. He's going to look up to the inside here in towards turn 4. In the background, John Boy throwing a feint to the inside of the Mutts Nuts there. But Mutts Nuts not taking the bait, holding his ground for the time being. As Park Hooper and Jay are side by side down the back straight. Park Hooper has the inside. Is Jay going to try and go around the outside for this right hand? And no, he's not far enough alongside and tucks in for the time being. But Jay's got a bit of a run here up the inside. Surely he's going to make this move here on Park Hooper for the first of these series of right handers. He makes that move there. There's Jay. What a move there. Very cool and calm, and in a composed manner gets himself up into P5. He's 5 seconds off the lead right now. It's Jay. No, he's lost it. Oh, Jay Binns in there, coming through the third to last corner onto the grass, and he comes out behind John Boy. So that could potentially be the nail in his championship right now. Jay hanging by a thread in this points battle, but he's now down in 8th place behind John Boy. John Boy on the back right now. The Mutt Snuts as they're coming over the line here to complete lap 6 of the race. But this train of cars led by Craig with Big Blue, Park Poopy, the Mutt Snuts, John Boy, Jay, Cobb and Charlie on the back of them. So this is an 8-car train here as Charlie goes wide onto the gravel there out of turn 1. What a nightmare there as Park Poopy there keeping ahead of the Mutt Snuts in towards turn 3. But the Mutt Snuts keeping ahead of John Boy as well. John Boy's been crushing him for the last few laps, but hasn't been able to get ahead of the Mutt Snuts here. But Jay has got Cobb really hassling him now as well. So this race has gone completely peaked on here for Jay. His captain's got just over a second of a gap right now over Ozzy Albi. Craig there running in 3rd place ahead of Big Blue. Jay here, we're trying to look underneath John Boy as we're coming out of the last corner here. Halfway through this final race of the night, a flash of lights there from Jay. Just looking around the outside here of John Boy. But nothing doing there at the moment as Park Hooper's got the Mutt Snuts looking to his inside. The Mutt Snuts is going to try and make the move here into Druids. Surely this is going to be job done. Park Hooper trying to hold it around the outside. Park Hooper's still there, doing a great job of keeping himself in the hunt here. And Park Hooper keeping on to P5. The Mutt Snuts round the outside, tucks it into P5 again. As now the Park Hooper wide and John Boy's going to surely seize on that up into P6. He does so. Jay's going to try and follow him through as well. Park Hooper a bit wide. Jay's going to swoop through as well up into P7. So Park Hooper there losing a few places. Jay just squeezing Park Hooper to the edge of the track. Is Park Hooper still alongside him? No, Park Hooper tucks in behind Jay. So Jay there up into 7th place. Now Cobb will be trying to pick Park Hooper off as he's looking to the outside here. Park Hooper will have the inside line covered off, but Cobb's going to go all the way around the outside. Make that look very easy to Cobb. And up into 8th place he goes. So John Boy, Jay and Cobb behind the Mutt Snuts, but in fact this is really these kind of like these 6 really, including Charlie Goff, in a bit of a train here. Are they now going to chase down Craig and Big Blue, who are battling over the final podium places? They're only about 2 or 3 seconds behind this battle right now, which is going on for 3rd and 4th places. Captain Harlock is gapping Ozzy Albi a little bit here out the front. He's got nearly 2 seconds right now. Captain Harlock should be alright there in that lead of the race. Jay looking to the outside of John Boy into Paddock Hill Bend at the moment. Oh, Ozzy there gets it wrong onto the curb. Has a bit of a swipe there, but keeps it on the road, keeps it pointing in the right direction there. That's Big really coming inside of Craig into the penultimate corner, but can't do it. Mutt Snuts, John Boy, Jay and Cobb there running in 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places here. Couple of seconds back to Park Hooper and Charlie, who still are fighting out over 9th place. As we start lap 10 here for the final race of the night, so we're coming into the closing stages of this final race here at Brands Hatch for this evening. We go back to the battle here for 5th place. The Mutt Snuts still keeping in of John Boy, Jay and Cobb at the moment. All these 4 in the championship fight. Captain Harlock currently taking points off of all of them. Captain Harlock could dearly love the race to finish as it is right now, because he lost so many points in the second race of the night, but he'll make up a lot of them here in this final race and could go into the title decider next week at Silverstone with still a decent chance in this battle. But where are these guys? Mutts Nuts, John Boy, Jacob, where are they going to end up in the final classification? Because they're hunting down Big Blue, Craig and Big Blue, who are running in 3rd and 4th, so maybe a couple of these guys might end up in 3rd and 4th places. Who knows where it's going to all end up here. Craig a bit wide there, going out the penultimate corner onto the grass. Big Blue likewise. Captain Harlock starts lap 11. We've got 4 laps left to go here at Brands Hatch for tonight's touring car action here for round 7 of 8 for season 13. One more round in the season left next week at Silverstone Classic. But what a night we've had here, as Part Pooper's got Charlie on the back of him here as these guys battle it out over 9th place. Charlie looking to the inside of Part Pooper into Druids, but he's too far back just at the moment. Can't go for the move just there. Mutts, John, Jay and Cobb are bringing him, those 4 are now bringing themselves into the battle here with Craig and Big Blue. They're lapping a lot quicker as Jay's got the inside here of John Boy. John Boy a bit wide there coming through turn 4, but holds on to it. Jay's going to go for the run, but coming down the back straight, but he's just too far back at the moment. There is the train of cars right now. The 4 hunters coming after the 2 hunted here. In the meantime, Aussie Albie, I'll tell you what, he's obviously sniffing a chance at a victory here in this one, because he is actually gaining on Captain Harlock out the front. Lapping in the 129s was Aussie Albie in cold temperatures on tyres that have done 11 laps. So Aussie Albie really getting into it here in the closing stage of this race. Can Aussie Albie take a win here? I don't think he's ever taken a win in the touring cars. I know he has in the Clios, but in the touring cars, I've never seen Aussie Albie take a win, I don't think. He's only been driving in a competitive car for the last season, was racing in the Mercedes and the BMW before. Has switched up to the Megane, which is really the only option worth even considering. As we've got Jay trying to defend here from Cobb. Always in the foreground, Mutts Nuts and John Boy running side by side. John Boy trying to get it around the outside. Mutts Nuts has the inside for turn 3. Just keeps onto it there. John Boy nowhere to go, has to tuck in for the time being. Mutts trying to defend the inside. John Boy looking up the inside for turn 4. Can't get it done. Jay and Cobb there in the background, still running in 7th and 8th places at the moment. It's Captain and Aussie, I know now separate by 6/10. Oh, and Aussie goes wide onto the grass, but keeps it going, keeps it pinned. No dramas. Still in this fight for the win. But Aussie Albie, I'll tell you what, a 29.7 last time around. He was fastest of anyone nearly, barring Mutts, John Boy and Jay and Cobb, those 4 guys who are hunting down the leaders, but they're way off at the back now. So Aussie Albie absolutely flying here at the end of this race, really putting Captain Harlock under some pressure. Is Captain Harlock going to be able to hold on to that pressure? Obviously he knows he needs a win here, or at least needs a second in this final race, considering what happened in the second race of the night where he finished down in 12th place. So Captain Harlock, if he's to keep his championship alive going into the final round next week at Silverstone Classic, needs a good result here in this final race of the night, as Jay's to get to the inside of John Boy into turn 1, but too far back at the moment, and John Boy keeps on to P6. John Boy trying to attack on the Mutts Nuts, whilst he also watches out for Jay, who's trying to put him off in his mirrors. Craig still keeping ahead of Big Blue in this battle for the podium spots right now. But we're very much in the closing stages of this race. Oh, it's Cobb and Jay side by side. And Cobb's going to be inside. Jay's trying to keep it there. Oh, it's going to be close in between these two. Jay, in the end, managed to keep it around the outside. Cobb had to back out on that one, I think. Very sensibly thinking better of charging one up the inside there. But that's now just put these guys off at the back of John Boy a little bit. Can John Boy attack on the Mutts Nuts coming around to start the final lap of the race? Here we are then. Captain Harlock just gapped Ozzy Albion a little bit on that last lap. Captain Harlock in the 129s. Ozzy Albion low 130. Craig and Big Blue coming over the line. Can these two keep on to the third and fourth places? If they can, it will benefit Captain Harlock enormously because he'll be able to gain big points on John Boy and Cobb as well, who's running in 8th place. And obviously the Mutts Nuts and Jay still also in the championship battle for this season. Nick Livilla not having the race in this final race. We're not expecting him to be here next week at Silverstone Classic anyway, because he's going on holiday before the final round of the season, so he will not be with us for the final round next week. So we should have 5 drivers still in championship contention going into the final round of the season. I'm looking forward to that one enormously to see who comes out on top. But here we are then, final half a lap of the race for the final time this evening here at Brands Hatch. Captain Harlock still running ahead of Ozzy Albi right now. Craig is keeping on to the final podium place. The Mutts Nuts there a bit wide onto the grass, keeping John Boy at bay. Here we come there, final 2 corners of the lap here. And it's going to be Captain Harlock who I think is going to take the win. Emma saying in the comments, come on Ozzy. Ozzy pushed him hard, Emma. He really did. He's driven an absolute cracker of a final race of the night. But Captain Harlock is going to make up for the woes of the second race. He's going to make up for the difficulties here that he's faced tonight. It's going to be a victory for Captain Harlock as he comes over the line. A flash of lights from Captain Harlock, a flash of lights from Ozzy Albi. Those two showing the respect to each other. Craig takes 3rd ahead of Big Blue 4th, followed by the Mutts Nuts who comes over in P5. John Boy 6th ahead of Cobb in 7th. Jay finishes the race in 8th place in the end ahead of Park Pooper who takes 9th. Charlie comes over to take a P10 with Nick Livilla minus a headlight there in 11th place. Revolt Detail is going to come over to take 12th place here in this final race of the night, with Day 666 coming out at the final corner, and it's going to be a 13th place finish for Day. And Team MW will be the last driver to cross the line in 14th place. And that is a wrap then for tonight for the Touring Car Championship here at Motive. Round 7 of 8 for the season here. Races 19, 20 and 21. 3 races left next week for the final round of the season. Who is going to prevail in the championship? The standings will be up to date very, very soon. I'll be getting those done in the next couple of days so the drivers can practice over the weekend and over next week. But what a championship decider it bodes to be. Captain saving his blushes there in that final race. Getting a little bit closer. John Boy there, consistent, took the 2nd place in the middle race. Took an 8th in the first race and a 6th. So not the greatest of nights for the championship leader, but Cobb not having a great race in the final race of the night. So it's all kind of evened itself out a bit. I tell you what though, Jay I think might need a miracle in the final round next week because he's dropped plenty of points this week. Mutts Nuts I think is probably out of the running realistically. I reckon it's going to be John Boy, Cobb, maybe Captain Harlock with an outside shot. But we're going to get the championship standings up to date and we can tell you the exact situation before the racing gets underway next week. So tune in, same time, same place, 8:30 PM for the final race at Silverstone Classic. And that will be on the 9th of March this time next week. Thanks everybody once again. We'll see you soon. Take it easy and yeah, see you in the next one. Good night.